Hey everyone, Tom here from TechNexus, and thanks for joining me for this week's videos all about Revit. Now, yesterday, if you were following the video, you would have seen me talk about what's new with 2020 and a sort of a general tour of the Revit interface. And what we're going to have a look at today is diving into the architectural side of things. And then tomorrow we'll do structure and steel, and then the day after we'll do some systems, and then we might play around with a few other things to polish off the week. But today for architecture, I just wanted to go through sort of the basics and how I also started learning how to use Revit. Now, if you're coming from an AutoCAD world, you sort of have to change your way of thinking, I guess, that you're really just modeling. You're modeling in a wall sort of to a length, and then when I look at it in 3D, I can see that I have actually modeled it. And then if I look in my elevations, I will see that it has also come in at the ground floor because that's the view I was looking at. And at the moment, it's not constrained to anything, so it's just coming in at 8 meters high. So we can constrain that to level 1, and now I can see that that wall is going to stick to level 1. So if I do change that to be 6 meters, then the wall will automatically be 6 meters. And I'll just delete that. I'll actually undo a couple of those commands. And let's just go put that back to 4 meters, and I'll delete that and jump back to ground floor again. So to get started, if you're looking at it in an architectural sense, you could probably start with doing a grid. So you can place the grid. You've got functions here to draw a line, start end radius, you've got center radius, and even pick a line. But because I'm starting from scratch with nothing in here, I'm going to just draw some grids just arbitrarily. So one, and I might do one every, let's do one every 10 meters. So 2, and you can see down the bottom there where it's counting up between every meter. Or what you can do is just put in the value, and then when you do select the end one there, I can come in here and change that to be 10 meters, and you'll see it'll shift over. So I'll just do that for the other side. So grid 5, 6, and again change that to be, we'll just do a square house, and then do another grid, and then change that again 10 meters, and let's do another one. And there's our grids for the beginning of our house. So from here, you can see that in each view, we have those grids there. And then if I switch to my elevations, you can see the grids in whichever view you're looking at. So you can also come back here and stretch these out so that they might appear more neater on your view. So if I switch to north as well, so I can do the same thing, just stretch out the ends a little bit, just to make the views a little bit more neater. So then when we do put walls in here, we are going to, not have the walls sort of encroaching on the text there as well. And if I do switch to my 3D view, then you can see the levels appear in there. And also coming in, let's see if we've got any grid options. No, so we're all good there. So what I can do is, starting from a ground floor, I want to draw an architectural wall, a structural wall, so load bearing or shear wall, or a wall by face. So I might do a structural wall, and out of the families that already exist in here, so again, for anyone following, I always leave the standard families in there so you can follow along with me if you wanted to. But I can do a double brick that's 270 mil thick. And if we look at the settings for it, you can see we've got a 110 mil brick either side and a 50 mil air layer. So you've got a couple options here. When you do place that wall, so when we draw, you've got, picking a line, just picking a rectangle, any other polygons, circular, arcs, other options here, but what we can do is do just a normal square because I want the outside to be my architectural wall. Now I'm starting from my ground floor, and up in the options here I want to go to a height and I want to go to level 1. Okay, and the location is the finish face exterior, so I want the face of it to be on the edge of the grid. I can offset it as well, but I don't need to for this. And then I can just do the normal, I can do the rectangle command here, so picking 2 corners, and then there's the walls there. So down the bottom, if you get this sort of look where it's all grayed out and you can't sort of see the contents of the wall, you can come down here and switch it to fine mode. And you can also switch it to maybe wireframe or even shaded if you want to see sort of what the colors might look like. So now if I switch back to my 3D view, you can see here we've got the beginnings of that as well. So I switch to fine mode and shaded as well, and we can see, maybe let's switch it to realistic as well. So you can see there, you can actually see the pattern of the bricks on there as well. So if we look at the side views, same thing, fine and realistic, you can see that we've got the wall starting at 0 and it's constrained to level 1 being 4 meters. So again, let's just come back and change that to be 6 meters because the client wants it to be at 6 meters. Everything will change to 6 meters there, and you can see the same thing happens with the 3D view. So I'm just going to change that back. Okay, and going from my ground floor, now I want to put in some architectural walls. So then I go architectural, and I don't want double brick. I want, what do we want to do? Let's just do stud timber. Okay, now again, same thing. We're going to the height, we're going to level 1, and now I want to do wall center line. So now when I snap to here, and then snap to the grid, and then snap to the next grid, then you can see we've got those walls in there. And again, switching to 3D, you can see the wall. So there's the one of the first rooms. So let's do the same for the rest of it. So again, an architectural wall with a basic stud wall. And I'll zoom into my grid here, and you can see Revit snapping. Okay, so we'll do a couple bedrooms, let's say, for argument's sake, and then do the same at the intersection from there to there, and then do the same for the other room. Okay, so again, if we switch to 3D, we can see there's our house. Now it doesn't have a slab, so same thing with the structural component. And I'll just duck into structural just quickly today. So do the same thing, do a slab. So it's on the ground floor, and let's offset it by 100 mil. So then when I do the rectangle, so when I switch to 3D now again, so there's that slab. You can see the offset is appeared with 100 mil. Going back to architecture again, so you know, if someone's come back, we obviously need to put doors in here. So looking at my ground floor, I'll go to doors, and then the single flush ones. So you can pick, let's go, I like them a little bit wider and taller. So we can do different doors in here. So you can see there that Revit will show you the dimensions from either side, but I'm just going to place them 400 mil from the corner. And now you can see here, you might get an issue where the door hasn't been placed the right way. You don't need to go through and modify anything. You can just flip it, and then it'll flip itself over. And then let's do the same thing for the other rooms. So 400 off the edge and 400 off the edge there. So this one's fine. I want the door to close against the wall here, but I can just flip that over, and then we turn back to our 3D view, and then there's those doors there. And now we need to put in maybe a couple entry doors that, you know, maybe some double doors, something a little bit more fancy. So This is where you can go to the manufacturer's website. They might have the Revit families already created for that door. If you don't have that, you can just click on Load Family, and then it'll take you to the family, the directory of where you've loaded the family. So we can just go Doors, and then we can do, let's do just a double flush RFA. So you go Open, and that will load the family, and then we've got all of the different options in here. So we want a 920, and we're going to enter from this side. Yeah. Okay. So the doors, we can just flip them so they open up to the inside, and I want them, so that's placed centrally, so that's good. So again, I just switch to 3D mode, and then there's a picture of a 3D model. I can switch it to perspective as well if that's the way you like to work. You can see there we've got the beginnings of our house. Now lastly, let's put in some windows. So same thing, there's a whole bunch there, but I want to load some different ones. So I'll just scroll down into the directory and look for windows. And let's do something double hung. Fix with trim. Round, no, I don't want any round windows. There you go, some sliding windows. Okay, now this is where there's all the different types in there. And I normally, when you do talk to Revit people, they do say, you know, loading it up with too many families might affect the performance. So I only want the wide ones with all of the different heights. Okay, so again, same thing. I'm just going to go the wide one. So it's at a sill height of 900. So wherever I do place it, so I'm just placing these arbitrarily around here, and you can come back and change them later anyway. So we're going to start throwing in, let's say this bedroom's going to get 2 windows, and this bedroom's going to get 2 windows as well. Maybe it overlooks something that it needs to have more light in, and you can see again, looking at our model, there's the beginning of your house model. Okay, and if we look at our east views, so you can see there we're starting to get some views happening, and then we can even cut a section through there. So this is a section looking through our model. So the section view, if we go to ground, you can see it's looking to the north. So you can see there's the section. Okay, and if you need to put more things in, so let's say you want to start putting some furniture, you can come in here and do a component. So place a component. So we do have some desks already in there. There's trees, but I want to load a family. So we'll go back to the Australian and go furniture, and then do beds, and let's do large sizes. So maybe we want to throw in some king beds in here. So again, I can stick them anywhere and adjust those sizes later anyway. Okay, and I want to stick this one in the corner, and we've got 3 bedrooms in there. So once they're placed in there, you've got tools in here to rotate it round. So maybe I want to rotate it 180 degrees. And then for a view inside that bedroom, we can go to the View tab, and then go to 3D View and go Camera. And I want to stick a camera in the middle of the room, and then I drag the view out. And then you can see there is our view of that room, and I can switch it to realistic. And then we can slowly build up these images here as well. Okay. And then architecture, I'll just go across from left to right. So other, and maybe architectural columns, structural columns, we can put in a roof. So I can say roof by footprint. So it's telling me now, because I'm on the lowest level, would I want to move the roof to level 1, which is yes. Okay, and again, let's do a 600 overhang. And similar to the walls and the slab command, I can just pick a rectangle and do corner to corner, and then click on the tick. Now if I switch to 3D mode, there it is there. Okay, so obviously this isn't going to be your final house, but you can get an idea on what the roof is going to look like. There's ceilings, there's other floors, curtain systems, railings, so you can sketch a path or place it on a stair or ramp. I don't have any stairs in this model, but you've got the option for ramps and stairs. Any model text, model lines or groups, rooms, so I can come in here and make all of these bedrooms actual rooms. You can see this one, so it's making the whole, all of this sort of this cross section in the middle its own room. But what we can do is put in a room separator and it'll break it down, and then we can get a list of all of the rooms in here as well. I can do openings, so if I want to put, you can see here opening by face, just a shaft opening, a wall opening. So maybe if you wanted to do maybe some sort of archway or rectangular opening in a wall, then you can throw one in there. Any verticals as well, so then that way you can make your model look a little bit more realistic. Now if I jump back to 3D, actually what I want to do is go to my 3D view. So I've got that room there, and then just jumping down quickly, this is the basic architecture template. So you can see here I've got five doors in there, and I've also got a schedule of how many windows. So we've got 18 windows in there. Now if you wanted to start putting these views on sheets, so I can just click on the ground floor view, drag it onto my sheet here for the first one, and then there it is. And then same thing with the 3D view. So I want a crop region, so I can stick that view on there. And then what we might do is change the scale of a few of these later as well. Okay, actually let's see if we can change the scale of this one. Here we go. So I can make it 1 in 200, and that way it's not going to encroach on that view. And then I can move that view up there. So you can slowly start building up this sheet as well, and then that way you can make it maybe make this the first sheet of your drawing package that you're going to send out to whoever is looking at the house as well. And you can see here that we've got all of those grids and section marks in there. We can go through and change the visibility graphics. So you can see here we can turn things on and off, any annotation, okay, any other model categories or imported categories. So the views can be modified to suit how you want them to look on the sheet as well. Okay, but really for today, I just wanted to go over, I'll just close this off. I just wanted to go over the basics of Revit if you're coming from an AutoCAD sense, that you're not just drawing a line or a circle, you are drawing a wall, you are actually modeling a window in here, and then that way you can slowly build up your knowledge of Revit and sort of start to get into a little bit more of the 3D side of things and getting into BIM as well. So hopefully it's been informative for you. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow we're going to go through structure and steel. So what I will do is a little bit more of the structural side and also talk about the interoperability between Revit and advanced steel. So if you're a structural user and using Revit, it might pay to join me tomorrow to watch that video and talk about the interoperability with advanced steel. So again, thank you for watching. Thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, but please do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to get daily notifications of all of my videos, and I will see you tomorrow for some structural modeling. See ya.